let's testify tonight. Oh God, you've done so much for me. I'm grateful and overwhelmed here at your feet. And I could stay here forever, Lord, but you call me to something more. And I hear you say that you have a plan to use every broken woman and man to display just how good you are. We are your living pieces of art. What good does it do to hide away when all of my scars are a picture of grace? All right. So I will testify of the power of God. I will tell the world of the hope I have found. For my body was broken, my heart was made whole, and that's too good to keep to myself. So I will testify of the power of God. Oh, do you believe it? Has He done it for anyone else? I said, has He done it for anyone else? Cause the God that I serve, He's always at work. Has He done it for anyone else? So come on and testify of the power of God. Come on and tell the world of the hope we have found. For our body was broken, our hearts were made whole, and that's too good to keep to yourself. Come on and testify of the power of God. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. I'm gonna testify. Somebody testify your voice. This is my. So I'm gonna testify. Somebody testify. Come on, take it up. Jesus, my champion, the victor of grace, the only one worthy of all of my praise. Yeah. So come on and testify. Oh, somebody lift Him high. Come on, testify the power of God. I will tell the world of the hope I have found. Oh, for my body was broken, my heart was made whole, and that's too good to keep to myself. So I will testify of the power of God. Sing it. Oh, my body was broken, my heart was made whole, and that's too good to keep to myself. So I will testify of the power of God. Oh, let's do that right now, Murfreesboro.
And good evening, everybody. Hope, man, I can't even keep track of what day it is, what time it is. Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad to see you guys. Hope you are doing as well as you possibly can. Sorry I am later than I wanted to be. I got stuck in traffic on the way home. But c'est la vie. And I know that last week, I feel really bad because last week we didn't get to do a live stream at all. And, after the week before going through the infectious skin diseases, I know everybody was really looking forward to whatever comes next. And I know the one that people are really looking forward to is the bodily discharges. But uh, I'll say this: sadly, you're not going to get bodily discharges today. No. Today, we're going to be still talking about infectious skin diseases, only instead of identifying them, today we're going to be talking about cleansing them. So, all sorts of wacky fun. This is probably not going to be a particularly long live stream because I am so late. And, Spring, what did you do? Getting your foot stuck inside your sweater again? You're such a crazy little girl. We have to put her, she's just a little chihuahua, so we got to put her in these sweaters because, since the weather's cooling down a little bit, she'll get too cold. She gets cold very easily. But she always pulls her feet back inside the sweater. So always got to kind of adjust it there so that she can actually have her feet out. Anyway, so uh, yeah. But anyway, Bradley's here, Arabic is here, Stan Lee is here saying it's almost World Series time. Toronto is in the big show. Hold on a second. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I don't have any F's to give. I don't care about sports ball. And so speak for yourself. I'm not sure about what though. Oh, nice to get your other. You know what? You need to stop that. You're doing such a bad job. All right. But um, yeah, it's been just a crazy couple of weeks. I apologize for a lot of stuff, but I'm going to continue to press on, and we'll do these live streams as often as I possibly can until I can't. And so, you see, the reason you're having trouble walking out is because you keep pulling your foot inside your little sweater. So stop doing that. I don't want to take the sweater off of you because then you're going to get cold and you're going to complain about that. Right? There. Now you can walk around a little bit. Yeah. All right. Let's get right into the fun, huh? About the no bodily discharges. Oh, so you're looking forward to the bodily discharges, is what you're saying. And Bradley puts a Y in the chat. I'm assuming because Bradley's looking forward to bodily discharges as well. You guys are weird. Just yeah, we got a weird crowd around here. That's all I can say. All right, so let's get over here and turn that on. All right, and dog is probably just embarrassed. Well, she's a shy girl, and she's tired of being abused by her little sister. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Yes, Mochi is so crazy, huh? All right. So, continuing from where we left off, remember in the last chapter, for those of you that don't remember, in the last chapter we covered all sorts of nasty things that can get on your skin, as well as various molds and fungi that can infect your household. So, what do you do? Glad you asked. Starting in verse 1, the Lord said to Moses, "These are the regulations for any diseased person at the time of their ceremonial cleansing when they are brought to the priest. The priest is to go outside the camp and examine them. If they have been healed of their defiling skin disease, the priest shall order that 2 live clean birds and some cedar wood, scarlet yarn, and hyssop be brought to that person to be cleansed." So, important takeaway in this part is notice the guy doesn't get to come into the camp just because he says he's cured. The priest has to go outside of the camp in order to examine him. And of course, so this is a very, people like to scoff at how silly the Bible is, but this is a very effective means of quarantining those that have very contagious diseases that could absolutely devastate a tightly packed community of some 2 million Jews. So, yeah. Um, the priest shall order that one of the birds be killed over the fresh water in a clay pot. He is then to take the live bird and dip it, together with the cedar wood, the scarlet yarn, and the hyssop, into the blood of the bird that was killed over the fresh water. 7 times he shall sprinkle the one to be cleansed of the defiling disease, then pronounce them clean. After that, he is to release the live bird in the open fields. Now, this sounds really weird, right? Now, obviously, and I know some people try to say, "Oh, this is like a magic spell to cure, leprosy." I remember Thunderfoot did a video about that once, and no, that is not what there's. This is a ceremonial. It's funny thing is it says all over the place. It's a ceremonial cleansing, and so whenever you see that kind of thing where you're being ceremonially cleansed, it means that it's symbolic of something. And the interesting thing here is that if and I wish I had all, because man, it was a week or so ago when I looked at this, but some scholars suggest that this is a very interesting foreshadowing of Christ, in that the bird that is slaughtered is to represent how Christ was killed on the cross, um, and the water that you put in the clay pot is to represent Christ's metaphor of the living waters. I can't remember what the other bird represents, but there's something there. And the sprinkling of this mixture on the person who is being cleansed is showing that they're being saved by the blood of Christ and His living water. So I think that's kind of a cool take on it, and just kind of cool. Actually, Stan, I think it was actually that the second bird represented the Holy Spirit, if I remember correctly, and I can't remember exactly how. Um, so, the person to be cleansed must wash their clothes. Wow, look at that. You know, way before people, I don't even know how many years before germ theory started, but the person must wash their clothes, shave off all their hair, bathe with water, and then they will be ceremonially clean. After this, they may come into the camp, but they must stay outside their tent for 7 days. On the seventh day, they must shave off all their hair. They must shave their head, their beard, their eyebrows, and the rest of their hair. They must wash their clothes and bathe themselves with water, and they will be clean. So notice this is a really strict cleansing that they're doing, because I mean, you shave your entire body, you wash all your clothes, you come into the camp, but you can't go inside your house yet for another 7 days, and before that you have to shave yourself again and wash your clothes again. This is some serious quarantining here. And so on the eighth day, they must bring 2 male lambs and 1 ewe lamb, a year old, each without defect, along with 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with olive oil for a grain offering, and 1 log of oil. The priest who pronounces them clean shall present both the one to be cleansed and their offering before the Lord at the entrance of the tent of meeting. So there's an offering that obviously, we did all the offerings earlier on in Leviticus, but we're doing a grain offering, um, and saying 2 male lambs, 1 ewe lamb. There's probably a sin offering and a fellowship offering there. So we're doing a full set of offerings for the cleansed person. The priest is to take one of the male lambs and offer it as a guilt offering. There we go. That's the sin offering. And that's right, as a guilt offering, along with a log of oil. He shall wave them before the Lord as a wave offering. He is to slaughter the lamb in the sanctuary area where the sin offering and the burnt offering are slaughtered. Like the sin offering, the guilt offering belongs to the priest. It is most holy. The priest is to take some of the blood of the guilt offering and put it on the lobe of the right ear of the one to be cleansed, the thumb of the right hand, and the big toe of the right foot. And again, we talked about this once before, but this is symbolic of hearing the word, doing the word, and walking the word. The priest shall then take some of the log of oil, pour it over the palm of his own left hand, dip his right forefinger into the oil in his palm, and with his finger sprinkle some of it before the Lord 7 times. The priest is to put some of the oil remaining in his palm on the lobe of his right ear of the one to be cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, on top of the blood of the guilt offering. The rest of the oil is in his palm. The priest shall put on the head of the one to be cleansed, and to make atonement for them before the Lord. Um, Then the priest is to sacrifice a sin offering and to make atonement for the one to be cleansed for their uncleanliness. After that, the priest shall slaughter the burnt offering and offer it on the altar together with the grain offering to make atonement for them, and they will be clean. If, however, and I like the fact that they actually do this from now for every now and then, if, however, they are poor and cannot afford these, they must take one male lamb as a guilt offering to be waved and to make atonement for them, together with 1/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with olive oil for a grain offering, a log of oil, and the 2 doves or 2 young pigeons, such as they can afford, one for a sin offering, one for the burnt offering. So here you still have to bring in a male lamb, and you still have to bring some flour, but less of it. But you can bring pigeons instead of the other 2 lambs. So that's so for people that don't have a lot of means. I like the fact that with some of these offerings, there's always an explanation as to what to do. On the 8th day, they must bring them before the cleansing to the priest, the entrance of the tent of meeting, before the Lord. The priest take the lamb for the guilt offering, together with the log of oil, and wave them before the Lord as a wave offering. He shall slaughter the lamb for the guilt offering, and take some of the blood, and put it on the lobe of the right ear of the one to be cleansed, the thumb of the right hand, and the big toe of the right foot. Not repetitive at all here. The priest is to pour some of the oil into the palm of his own left hand, and with the right forefinger sprinkle some of the oil from his palm 7 times before the Lord. Some of the oil in his palm he is to put in the same places that he put the blood of the guilt offering, on the lobe of the right ear of the one to be cleansed, the thumb of the right hand, and on the big toe of the right foot. The rest of the oil in his palm the priest shall put on the head of the one to be cleansed, to make atonement for him before the Lord. Sound familiar? Um, then he shall sacrifice the doves or the young pigeons, such as the person can afford. One is a sin offering, and the other is a burnt offering, together with the grain offering. In this way, the priest will make atonement before the Lord on behalf of the one to be cleansed. Whew, a lot there. These are the regulations for anyone who has a defiling skin disease and who cannot afford regular offerings for their cleansing. Then the Lord said to Moses, so we're not quite done yet. This is quite the chapter here. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, when you enter the land of Canaan, which I am giving you as your possession, and I put a spreading mold in a house in that land, the owner of the house must go and tell the priest, I've seen something that looks like a defiling mold in my house. The priest is to order the house to be emptied before he goes in to examine the mold, so that nothing in the house will be pronounced unclean. After this, the priest will go in and inspect the house. He is to examine the mold on the walls, and if it has a greenish or reddish depressions that appear to be deeper than the surface of the wall, the priest shall go out the doorway of the house and close it up for 7 days. On the 7th day, the priest shall return to inspect the house. If the mold has spread on the walls, he is to order that the contaminated stones be torn out and thrown into an unclean place outside the town. He must have all the inside walls of the house scraped, and the material that is scraped off dumped into an unclean place outside the town. They are then to take other stones to replace these, and take new clay and plaster to the house. So you see, again, they're very serious about preventing the spread of infectious disease. So if they spot some mold in your house, then you literally rip out that section of your house, take all that and dump it outside of the town, because nobody's out there, so it can't spread. And then you still got to scrape all the walls in the inside of your house and take all the scrapings from the walls and take that outside the town. Then you have to replace the section of house. Then you have to replaster your walls. Then your house will be clean. That's a lot of work. If the defiling mold reappears in the house after the stones have been torn out and the house scraped and plastered, the priest shall go and examine it, and if the mold has spread in the house, it is a persistent defiling mold. The house is unclean. It must be torn down, its stones, timbers, and all its plaster, and taken out of the town to an unclean place. Anyone who goes into the house while it is closed up will be unclean till evening. Anyone who sleeps or eats in the house must wash their clothes. But if the priest comes to examine it and the mold has not spread after the house has been plastered, he shall pronounce the house clean, because the defiling mold is gone. To purify the house, he is to take 2 birds and some cedar wood, scarlet yarn, and hyssop. He shall kill one of the birds over fresh water in a clay pot. Then he is to take clear the cedar wood and the hyssop and the scarlet yarn and the live bird, dip them into the blood of the dead bird and the fresh water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. He shall purify the house with the bird's blood, the fresh water, the live bird, the cedar wood, the hyssop, and the scarlet yarn. He is then to release the live bird in the open fields outside the town. In this way, he will make atonement for the house, and it will be clean. These are the regulations for any defiling skin disease, for a sore, for defiling molds and fabric on a house, and for swelling, rash, or shiny spot to determine when something is clean or unclean. These are the regulations for defiling skin diseases and defiling molds. And that is the end of this chapter and the end of the skin disease section of Leviticus. Our next adventure in Leviticus, yes, will be the one you've been waiting for, bodily discharges. All right, so real quickly, I'll go through the chat. I know there's not a lot of folks here because I started so late, but that's okay because I need to eat dinner. So let me rewind here. Okay. So Miss Moneypenny popped in right before I started reading. Good to see you, Miss Moneypenny, as always. Surprised the priests agreed to that witch doctor stuff. So this is after they've been observed to be already healed. Yes. So this is once the priest is determined that they're healed. That's when we go through all this stuff to ceremonially clean them and pronounce them clean. You're talking about the bird rising to heaven. Let's see. Robert in the house saying hello to Miss Moneypenny, and then says shalom tonight. Salty Trekker, shalom, shalom, Robert. And then he's throwing some oil and stuff at the chat. Why not? Wash them hands. And let's see. Stanley says, yo. In there, pretty good chance it'll spread if untreated for 7 days. Well, remember, the idea is to check to see if it's like an aggressive spreading mold or if it's something not all that major to worry about. Now, when I cleaned it up right away, well, they didn't have bleach. My house might end up killing me eventually. I know the paint inside is probably the outside paint is lead paint. Oh, that's not good. Amazingly though, my generation survived lead paint. I don't know how. Bradley says the rituals involving animals always sound like leftover stuff from before Christianity came along to me. I get that, because the animal but notice the animal sacrifices that we see in the Old Testament, and of course we went through all the details of the animal sacrifice a few weeks ago, but they are very meticulous, and as far as like generally speaking, pagan animal sacrifices aren't quite that. Trying to think of the right word, but it's not like, okay, so you take this part and you burn it, and you take this part and you sprinkle it, and you take this part and you throw it away, and it's in fact many times the animal sacrifices were just the animal was killed and left on the altar for their god in lowercase g to take the delicious meat and then after the meat started to rot, they would throw it away and do it again. So they were actually expecting their gods to eat the meats, um, like Arby's, I guess. But in Judaism, God was never expected to consume the meat directly, except for in the one instance where he did when they did their first burnt offering. But the burnt offering is the pleasing aroma to God, and but we don't expect him to just like come down and munch on the meat on the altar like most of the pagans did at the time. Robert said, "Here's a good one: Mr. Bean versus Inspector Gadget. Can't count how many times I." Waiting for his next comment. But Mr. Bean versus Inspector Gadget. Well, there you have an interesting one because Inspector Gadget has a weapon for everything, but Mr. Bean is quite literally invincible. So I still have to give it to Mr. Bean. Plus, Inspector Gadget is known to screw things up every once in a while. And so I think Mr. Bean is going to accidentally dispatch of Inspector Gadget. Can't count how many times Inspector Gadget avoided severe things because of his looking for clues and so forth. Yes, but he also was, unlike Mr. Bean, like Inspector Gadget usually relied on, what was it, his niece or nephew or whatever to solve the crimes for him. Mr. Bean just did it all by accident because of his darn near omnipotent abilities. Because, that's what a Bible study is all about.